goddamn Cowboys!
Welcome back to an absolute monster All Lakers edition of the 8 and 88 podcast. If you are tracking the countdown clock with us live, it is exactly 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Tuesday, June 30th, 2026. We are exactly 60 minutes away from the official start of the 2026 NBA free agency period. Hank, I have my refresher, my notifications are pinned, and the entire league is about to experience an absolute structural earthquake. Let's not bury the lead. The king has officially abdicated his throne in Los Angeles. LeBron James is not coming back for a 24th NBA season in purple and gold.
It is official, Dwayne. Rich Paul, the CEO of Clutch Sports, put out the definitive word today. The 8-year tenure in Southern California is over. Before the fans start panicking, let's respect what the man did. He brought home the 2020 Larry O'Brien Trophy. Even last season, at 41 years old, he was defying Father Time, putting up 20.9 points, 6.1 rebounds, and 7.2 assists per game while carrying that squad to the number 4 seed in a brutal Western Conference. But the writing is on the wall, and his next destination is all but locked in.
It's Golden State, Hank. The smoke signals are screaming out of San Francisco. Look at the financial choreography happening right now. Draymond Green explicitly opts out of his $27.6 million player option just to clear out the operational breathing room for Mike Dunleavy Jr. and the Warriors front office. They are manipulating the books as we speak to offer LeBron the full $15.1 million non-taxpayer mid-level exception. To stay under the hard cap, word is they are actively trying to dump Moses Moody to a team with cap space without taking a single dollar back. Steve Kerr wants his 2024 Paris Olympics chemistry back with Steph and LeBron, and it looks like he's going to get it.
And let's look at the teams left in the cold. Cleveland wanted that fairy tale third homecoming, but they are currently the highest spending team in the entire association. They'd have to strip that roster to the bone to offer anything above a veteran's minimum. Miami was a dark horse, but Pat Riley hard-capped his front office the second he absorbed Giannis Antetokounmpo's contract. So it's the Warriors' race to lose. But Dwayne, let's talk about the silver lining. LeBron walking isn't a tragedy for the Los Angeles Lakers. It is a strategic, tactical, and total financial liberation.
Say it louder for the people in the back, Hank. If LeBron stayed, his cap hold for this upcoming 2026 to 27 season was a staggering, eye-popping $59.5 million. Remember, he just wrapped up a 2-year, $101 million bag where he pulled in $52.6 million in base salary last year alone. If Rob Pelinka had brought him back at market value, the Lakers would be trapped operating strictly as an over-the-cap luxury tax entity. You are completely paralyzed. Your only tools are minimal exceptions. You can't fix the roster, you can't buy size, you can't build a modern defense. By letting LeBron walk, that $59.5 million burden vanishes into thin air. A cap sheet catastrophe turns into a wide-open financial blueprint.
Welcome to the next phase. Here, the point guard is the sun, holding everything in orbit. But some find a loophole in the system.
It's a blank canvas built around a 27-year-old basketball alien. Welcome to the absolute peak prime of Luka Dončić.
Man, let's talk about the chronological alignment here. Over the past calendar year, this franchise was suffering from a massive identity crisis. You were trying to serve two completely different masters, two completely divergent timelines. You had the urgent win right now before I retire pressure of a 41-year-old LeBron and the optimize my prime window of a 27-year-old Luka. Those two styles don't mesh seamlessly in a modern half-court set. Now, the hierarchical tension is completely eradicated. JJ Redick and Rob Pelinka can build a pure, unadulterated, heliocentric offensive engine tailored entirely to Luka's pick-and-roll genius without political or tactical compromises.
And remember how Luka got here. Dallas Mavericks executive Nico Harrison orchestrated that midnight trade in 2025 without Luka's camp even knowing. Because he was traded before hitting his 10-year service time milestone with his drafted team, Luka legally lost his eligibility for that massive $345 million Supermax extension. It cost him an estimated $16 million over the next 3 seasons. He is highly motivated. He is in the best physical conditioning of his career, and he's entering year 1 of his 3-year, $165.3 million max extension, carrying a colossal $51.03 million cap hit this season. But the clock is ticking, Dwayne. He has a player option for the 2028 to 29 season. That means Pelinka has a distinct, strict 2-year window to put a championship infrastructure around him, or Luka can walk into unrestricted free agency at age 30.
So how do you maximize $51 million of Luka and still have room to build? You execute the Austin Reaves Masterclass. Hank, explain this contract loophole Pelinka is manipulating right now, because this is pure cap sheet wizardry.
This is why you pay elite cap strategists, folks. Austin Reaves, undrafted, making $2 million a few years ago, just agreed to a historic 4-year, $185 million maximum contract with a player option in 2029 to 30 to stay in LA. His agents at AMR Agency, Aaron Riley and Reggie Berry, spent 10 days hammering this out. Reaves explicitly declined his $14.9 million player option. By opting for a 4-year deal rather than the 5-year, $241 million max only the Lakers could offer, Reaves secures the ability to re-enter unrestricted free agency in 2029 at age 31. His base salary for the 2026 to 27 season will be $41.3 million, scaling up to $51.2 million by the final option year.
But here's the trick. They aren't processing the signing yet.
Exactly. They are using a delayed signing strategy. Right now, because the contract isn't formally finalized, Reaves only counts against the Lakers' cap sheet at his raw bird cap hold of approximately $20.9 million rather than his true $41.3 million year 1 salary. So Pelinka is going to operate as a cap space team first. He is going to spend all their available cash on outside free agents, exhaust the cap room, and then, and only then, will they formally execute Reaves' contract last, using his full bird rights to blow right past the salary cap.
Beautiful. And let's put the numbers in perspective. The NBA dropped the official memo. The 2026 to 27 salary cap is locked at $165.0 million. That is actually $1 million lower than previous estimates because regional and local media revenues took a slight hit. The luxury tax is $201.0 million. The first apron is $209.0 million. And the dreaded punitive second apron is sitting at $222.0 million. By executing this Reaves delay and cutting ties with LeBron's cap hold, SpotTrack has the Lakers projected to hold between $48.0 million and $52.1 million in functional cap space when the clock hits 6 p.m. tonight. Plus, once they spend that space down to zero, they unlock the $9.42 million room mid-level exception, which lets them sign a player for up to 3 years and a maximum value of $29.68 million.
Before we see how they spend that $50 million war chest, we have to look at what J.J. Redick actually has on the roster right now as of June 30th, 2026. The perimeter is loaded, but the interior is a complete desert. Let's look at the guaranteed contracts on the books.
Let's talk about some of these structural pieces, Hank. Jarrett Vanderbilt is represented by Rich Paul and Erica Ruiz at clutch. He remains your premier point of attack defensive weapon. He can guard 1 through 4. The problem is his lack of offensive gravity clogs up the driving lanes when Luka wants to manipulate the half court. That's why the rumor mill is spinning out of control, connecting Vanderbilt to the Denver Nuggets for Cameron Johnson. Denver is in a catastrophic financial crunch trying to clear out space to re-sign their restricted free agent Peyton Watson. If the Lakers can absorb Cameron Johnson's expiring $23 million contract by sending Vanderbilt's lower cap hit out, Luka gets an elite floor spacer, but you lose your perimeter defensive identity.
But you have Jake LaRavia stepping into that void. What a quiet, brilliant pickup by Pelinka last offseason. Memphis declined his rookie option. The Lakers snatched him up on opening night for a flat $6.0 million, and he turned into the definitive steal of the season. 6'8", immense defensive switchability, and his perimeter efficiency went through the roof under J.J. Redick's coaching system. Remember that game against the Miami Heat where he went completely nuclear for 25 points on 10 of 13 shooting. He is vastly outperforming his contract.
On the flip side, look at Dalton Connect. The Lakers exercised his third-year rookie option at $4.2 million, but his lateral quickness and point-of-attack defensive deficiencies got him completely yanked from Redick's playoff rotation. His confidence took a major hit mid-season when Pelinka tried to pack him up and ship him to Charlotte for Mark Williams in a deal that fell apart at the finish line. Right now, Connect's primary value moving forward may be as a highly tradable rookie-scale asset in a consolidation trade for a veteran rim protector.
And then there is the front line. Deandre Ayton exercised his $8.1 million player option after his Portland buyout to secure financial safety in a cold market. Look, he gave you decent regular season numbers, 12.5 points and 8.0 rebounds in 27.2 minutes. He held his own against Alperen Sengun in the first round, but when the playoff intensity ticked up against Oklahoma City in the second round, his effort wavered significantly. He was largely neutralized and outplayed by Jackson Hayes. During the second round sweep, Ayton managed just 7.3 points and 7.8 rebounds while shooting a disappointing 45.2% from the floor. He is represented by Bill Duffy, who ironically also represents Luka, but the front office views him primarily as a stopgap measure and a highly valuable expiring contract to utilize in trade packages.
Because Oklahoma City exposed the fatal flaw, Hank, the Lakers finished near the absolute bottom of the NBA in offensive rebounding and paint protection. In a Western Conference where you have to fight through Victor Wembanyama and Nikola Jokic, playing soft in the interior is a death sentence. That 139-96 blowout loss to OKC proved it. Luka explicitly told management, "Get me an A-list vertical rim runner who can finish lobs above the rim and protect the paint."
So here we go. 6 p.m. tonight, $50 million in cap space. Pelinka has 3 specific paths to secure that anchor center. Let's break down the board.
This is the highest upside, but the highest structural complication. If you sign an RFA to an offer sheet, your cap space is legally frozen for 48 hours, while the incumbent team decides to match. If they match, you just set out the first 2 days of free agency, while every other high-tier asset signed elsewhere. Walker Kessler, Utah Jazz, restricted. The profile, 24 years old, 7'2", a literal walking paint rejection machine. When healthy, he is a premier shot blocker, averaging 2.4 blocks in 2024-25 and a dominant rebounder, 12.2 RPG, while shooting 66.3% from the floor. The leverage. He is engaged in a massive standoff with the Utah Jazz front office. He rejected a 5-year, $140 million extension because he believes they are leveraging his restricted status to withhold a fair market contract. His CAA representation team, including Aaron Mintz, Houston Kessler, and Dave Spahn, are confirmed to be in Los Angeles right now holding meetings. The cost. Jazz owner Ryan Smith is posturing that Utah views Kessler as a core piece and will match any offer sheet. Pelinka has tried to trade for him 3 times in 2 years, but Utah's asking price was Austin Reaves and multiple first-round picks, which is an absolute non-starter. If the Lakers throw a massive front-loaded offer sheet at Kessler, can they force Utah to blink? The injury risk. He suffered a torn left labrum in November 2025, had surgery, only played 5 games last year. But when he was on the court, he was highly efficient. 14.4 points, 10.8 boards on 70.3% shooting.
The alternative RFA is Jalen Duren out of Detroit, 22-year-old physical powerhouse. All-NBA, third team in the regular season, led the Pistons to 60 wins and the top seed in the East averaging 19.5 points and 10.5 rebounds. He is the ultimate vertical lob threat for Luka. But Dwayne, his production plummeted under playoff intensity, dropping to 10.2 points and 8.5 rebounds per game, resulting in him being benched during critical moments of a Game 5 loss. Now he wants a contract averaging over $40 million a year. Detroit refuses to exceed the $36 million threshold, but Detroit executives have emphatically stated they will match any offer sheet and bluntly told the Lakers to back off.
If you don't want your money frozen, you go to the unrestricted market. Number one target, Mitchell Robinson. He fits the blueprint perfectly. Elite offensive glass cleaner, rolls hard, protects the rim, fits Dončić's requirements, and shot an insane 72.3% from the field last year while averaging 5.7 points in 60 appearances. James Dolan and the Knicks are staring down the barrel of the second apron luxury tax and reportedly refuse to pay a backup center premium money. Robinson has likely priced himself out of New York. The risk? The durability history is terrifying. He hasn't held a full-time starting role since 2022 to 23, and his poor free throw shooting makes him a late-game hacking liability.
You also have Robert Williams III sitting in Portland. Incredible lob threat, but he's only played over 60 games once in his 8-year career. If all else fails, you look at a 35-year-old Nikola Vucevic in Chicago as a short-term, low-cost fallback option who can grab rebounds at a high clip, even if he doesn't give you that vertical aerial threat above the rim.
This is the wild card, Hank. If LeBron decides he wants to finish his career with the Cleveland Cavaliers for a third and final stint, the Lakers hold all the cards because Cleveland operates heavily within the luxury tax and cannot sign him outright. It must be a sign and trade. Pelinka can demand 28-year-old center Jarrett Allen, who is on a 3-year, $90.7 million extension, making $28 million this season. He averaged 13.5 points, 9.7 rebounds, and 0.9 blocks per game last season. He is durable, elite defensively, and an excellent role man. And to grease the wheels, Chandler Parsons recently lauded the Lakers for guaranteeing Bronny James' $2.3 million contract prior to the June 29th deadline, calling it a brilliant move because his presence serves as unique leverage or matching salary in a sign and trade to appease LeBron's homecoming.
Great shot.
Let's look at how the Lakers are filling out the margins with cost-controlled assets because the front office aggressively maneuvered during the 2026 NBA draft. They didn't have a first-round pick walking into the week, but Pelinka executed a draft day trade with the New York Knicks to jump into the first round, securing the 24th overall selection to draft shooting guard Cameron Carr out of Baylor.
Now, this pick is fascinating because the front office clearly targeted a modern 3-and-D archetype. Carr is viewed as a high-volume plus shooter and an athletic wing capable of running the floor and catching lobs. The front office is explicitly drawing direct comparisons to the role Derrick Jones Jr. successfully executed alongside Dončić during the Dallas Mavericks' 2024 NBA Finals run. The fact that they passed on available bigs like Ugonna Onyenso to select a wing tells me Pelinka is highly confident they will land a veteran center in free agency.
But Pelinka wasn't done. He purchased the 56th overall pick from the Chicago Bulls via cash considerations, and then immediately enacted a robust, targeted G League strategy, identifying hyper-efficient collegiate talent to fill their 3 two-way contract slots for the South Bay Lakers. Let's look at the official haul. Peter Suter, guard, undrafted free agent, out of Miami of Ohio by way of Bellarmine. This kid was the MAC Player of the Year, putting up 14.8 points, 4.6 rebounds, 4.0 assists, and shooting a blazing 42.1% from beyond the arc. He dropped 27 points against Tennessee in the NCAA tournament. His elite basketball IQ completely compensates for average testing athleticism. A.K. Okereke, forward, undrafted free agent. A physical 6'7" wing out of Vanderbilt who shot a flat 40% from three-point land during his lone season in Nashville. Pure physical depth. Chris Mannon, guard, two-way qualifying offer, 24-year-old restricted free agent returning to South Bay. He was G League All-Defensive Team last year, finished 5th in the league with 97 total steals, while chipping in 11.5 points and 5.9 rebounds on 51.2% shooting.
That is a clear philosophical shift, Hank. Homegrown, cost-controlled, highly intelligent perimeter hounds to flank your high-priced stars. Once that main center position is locked down and the cap space is gone, they drop that $9.42 million room MLE. The unrestricted free agent market features several highly capable options tailored for Los Angeles' defensive needs. Kelly Oubre Jr., $4 million to $8 million range for aggressive slashing and chaotic defense. Gary Payton II, $4 million to $7 million range for premier perimeter lockdown defense, or Ayo Dosunmu and Keon Ellis as high upside point of attack defenders to alleviate pressure on Reaves and Luka. If Redick demands pure gravity to break up zone coverages, they look at Luke Kennard, $8 million to $12 million range, though his defensive shortcomings mirror those of Dalton Connect and would require careful lineup management.
Let's look at how Chris Mannon and Cameron Carr fit into J.J. Redick's specific tactical schemes on both sides of the ball. Redick needs to insulate Luka defensively, and Mannon is the perfect point of attack harasser. He fights over screens, stays attached to primary ball handlers full court, and uses those elite recovery skills that got him 97 steals in the G League to disrupt sets before teams can force Luka into a switch.
And Cameron Carr is the weak side roamer. With his length and explosive verticality, he can stay out on the perimeter, cover massive ground on closeouts, and act as a free safety when teams try to skip passes over Luka's head. But what I am most excited about, Hank, is Carr's shooting mechanics and how they mesh with Luka's playmaking gravity. Let's break down the tape on Carr's jump shot, the dip. He has a remarkably clean, compact dip upon catching the ball. There is zero wasted motion or hitch, which is critical because Luka delivers passes with extreme velocity. The set point. He brings the ball up to a perfect 90-degree elbow alignment. It is incredibly stable, highly repeatable, and prevents his shot from breaking down when contesting tight closeouts. The release. He features a high arc release with excellent soft touch. Because he prepares his feet early, his release time is incredibly fast.
And that off-ball movement is a perfect match for a heliocentric hub. In Redick's system, Carr won't just stand static in the corner. We are going to see him running curl-off screen routes. As Luka drives and commands the entire defense's attention, what we call defensive gravity, Carr will curl off an off-ball screen from the weak side. The defender will be forced to trail him, and Luka will deliver a blind pinpoint pass right into Carr's shooting pocket for an open catch and shoot look. It's going to be lethal.
The countdown clock is ticking closer, folks. The LeBron era is officially history. The Luka Dončić championship window opens tonight. For Hank, I'm Dwayne. This is Ayton 88.
This game's in the refrigerator, the door's closed, the lights out, the eggs are cooling, the butter's getting hard, and the jello's jiggling.